You're listening to 90.3 WMSC, Upper Montclair, New Jersey. As always, as far as I know, my name is Ryan Trick, joined again by my wonderful co-host,
Amanda Marino.
And in our virtual little Zoom studio here, we have the wonderful, always on time,
half awake Kyle Pepitone.
Kyle Pepitone. I don't know why. I tried to think of an intro and I could think of always on time, which for me is a good thing. Makes my job easier, makes everybody's lives easier. Thank you for joining us.
If I was able to, I would be on this call at 5 when I wake up.
That is insane.
That's dedication. I love it.
I would not be on the call at that point. I would be awake. I wouldn't be on the call. I might be like getting tea or something, but no, I would. That is dedication, Kyle. That's what I love to hear early in the morning. Again, radio listeners, thank you, of course, for joining us. This is the Morning Buzz. We got a wonderful show for you today, but first, as always, we have our wonderful on-time Mr. Kyle giving us a newscast. Kyle, tell me, what's going on in the world?
So, yesterday, presidential nominee Joe Biden addressed Senate Republicans against endorsing a replacement for the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg. President Trump's plan is to push forward and elect a new Supreme Court justice before the November election. AP reports that Trump told his supporters he will nominate a woman by this week. In local New Jersey news, according to NJ.com, several New Jersey school districts are delaying their start of in-person classes due to coronavirus. One example, Washington Township Public Schools, delayed the start of in-person classes until September 24th. In addition, all sports and extracurricular activities have been postponed. Superintendent Bollendorf said in a letter sent out to staff and students, quote, "District staff have worked exceedingly hard to prepare our schools and to create programs that would permit our students, electing to avail themselves to in-person instruction, to return to schools on Monday, September 21st. However, there are many variables out of the district's control that impact our ability to provide in-person instruction." End quote. And in relatively good news, despite destroying dozens of homes and buildings, the fires spreading throughout the Northwest have been beneficial to native wildlife. The Good News Network reports that the black-backed woodpecker has thrived in these hard conditions. By searching for food in recently burnt foliage, the bird creates homes for animals that can help regrow the forest by eating and distributing fire-resistant vegetation. And for weather, in Manalapan, it is currently 46 degrees with a high of 64 degrees. It's getting colder. And a low of 41 degrees. We have a sunset at 6:55 p.m., 10% chance of rain, and 5-mile-per-hour winds.
Thank you, Kyle.
You're welcome.
It is getting chilly.
Yeah.
Here in Upper Montclair, and it certainly doesn't feel like it when I was walking from my car to the radio station. It is about 46 degrees out with a high of 68 and a low of 45. I gotta tell you, it did not feel like 46 degrees. Maybe it's just because we
hotter or warmer,
colder.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It felt like it was like
the Arctic.
10 degrees.
Yeah,
It was like maybe it's because we've had so much like warm weather for so long. Like I feel like it got warm really early this year. Maybe because I just got so used to it. Now I'm not used to the cold anymore, and I was like, I'm freezing.
Was it windy too?
No, it wasn't windy, which is always good because
Thankfully.
the wind always kills me, honestly. I always feel like, I can't be outside.
Yeah.
I need to go seclude myself in like an indoor location.
Yeah, well, thankfully, I'm a huge fan of the fall. I got very excited today because it is finally flannel weather. And for those of you radio listeners who know me or know of me, I wear nothing but flannels whenever I can. Because they're like, in my opinion, they're like the best accessory. It's like a shirt, but cooler. Anyways, thank you, Kyle, for your wonderful newscast. Amanda's already sick of my jokes.
Okay.
And thankfully, we did bring sports back to the buzz. Here in our studio, we have Matt. I'm going to butcher your last name, Bruchez.
Close, Bruchet. It's French.
Bruchet. I love it. We have Matt Bruchet here in the studio. Matt, tell us, what's going on in the world of sports?
Well, speaking of the cold, that brings football. The second Sunday of the NFL season kicked off yesterday. The league got the thumbs up before kickoff as every player, which is almost 5,000, tested negative for COVID-19. Both Jets and Giants played at 1 o'clock, and both teams suffered losses as the Giants lost to the Bears and the Jets lost to the Niners. Seems like the 2016 Super Bowl again, as the Falcons had a big lead, but blew it to the Cowboys, who kicked a field goal to win 40-39. The Packers seemed as strong as ever, doubling the Detroit Lions score 42-21. The Indianapolis Colts defense was stout, holding the Minnesota Vikings to just 175 yards and a win 28-11. In the AFC East match, the Bills beat the Dolphins 31-28. The Eagles could not seem to hang with the Rams' high-powered offense in a loss 37-19. The Broncos lost a close game 26-21 against the Steelers. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, get used to saying that one, beat the Panthers 31-17. The Tennessee Titans beat the Jaguars in a game decided by 3 points to start off 2-0 for the first time since 2008. The Cardinals beat the Washington football team on the back of Kyler Murray 30-15. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens beat Deshaun Watson and the Texans 33-16. The LA Chargers almost upset the Chiefs in OT, but ended up losing 23-20. The Seahawks played the Patriots in a Sunday Night Football showdown that ended with Seattle winning a close game 35-30. Over the weekend in baseball, the Yankees won 8-0 against the Red Sox on Saturday, and then yesterday they lost 10-2, but have clinched a playoff spot, so no worries. Like the Yankees, the Mets split with the Braves over the weekend, as their playoff window is not like the Yankees. In the NBA, the Celtics won and are now down in the series 2-1 against the Heat. The Lakers won last night on an Anthony Davis game winner to go up 2-0 against the Nuggets. In the NHL, the Dallas Stars take Game 1 in the Stanley Cup Final. That's all from sports.
Thank you, Matt, for that wonderful sportscast. I'm so happy to have sports back on the buzz.
It keeps me a little informed on sports because I don't know much about sports at all.
I try and fit everything in there.
I don't know a thing about sports. I'm pretty sure there's you kick a puck through a hoop or something. We'll figure it out one day.
That's a little wrong, but
is our points involved?
Sometimes.
Then I'm close enough.
Is there anything new about the National Water Polo League?
That I did not look at.
Dang it.
All I know is that esports will live on, and one day I'll get the sports team to put that in the sportscast. Until then, Matt, thank you very much.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Wonderful sportscast, and we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Now we got some. We have some less than stellar news to kick off the show. Amanda.
All right. So as Kyle said in his newscast, we're heading for the fight for the Supreme Court seat currently. As everybody knows, on Friday, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Associate Supreme Justice, passed away due to complications with metastatic pancreas cancer, and she was 87 years old. For those that don't know what Ginsburg has done for this country and for just overall for mostly the female gender. She's done a lot of other things, but for the female gender, she has made it able for people to take out credit cards without a man's signature, can't be fired for being pregnant. Women can join the military. Women can adopt as a single parent. They're allowed to sue companies over pay discrimination and so much more. But then not even just for the female gender, she's fought for other acts and such over the years, including she set in a Disability Rights Act, and she's sat in on court rulings of Bush versus Gore in 2000. And she just has done a lot, including even for the environmental pollution and things like that. So not even just for women in general, but she's done a lot just for this country. So it was a major loss seeing her pass away on Friday. And now we're in a little bit of a weird time because we are about a month and a half away from the election, and they are trying to fill her seat that she had in the Supreme Court. And it's a lot up in the air right now because, all right, I'm gonna pull up my notes because it's a lot going on if you haven't been able to follow it a little bit. But basically, a few years back, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell actually blocked President Obama in 2016 to pick somebody new for a seat. And it was about 8 months before the election that year. And so he wouldn't allow it. And now they're trying to fill a seat about less than 45 days before the election. So it's kind of just I don't know, Ryan, do you know what I'm trying to say? A little bit of trying, like, it's a little bit of like, you said one thing a few years ago and now you're changing your mind and now we need to fill the seat.
Yeah.
So
before we get into it, we would like to specify that all opinions in this discussion reflect that of the hosts and not that of the station. Of course.
So it's just a lot up in the air right now. Obviously, if you said one thing a few years ago, it should be staying that way.
Yeah.
But obviously things don't work, like times are changing. And it is important to note that Ginsburg's dying wish was actually, quote, "My most fervent wish is that I will not be replaced until a new president is installed." That was a direct quote. She just really wanted to wait till the election to see for someone else to be reinstalled in her seat. And I think it's right. We are very close to the election right now. I think, in my personal opinion, I think they should wait. Brian, do you have any thoughts? Kyle, do you have any thoughts on this? I don't know if you've been like kind of like listening in on this. And stuff.
I'm not a political person.
Neither am I.
There's really nothing I can say that I would even have even the slightest bit of being informed about. Because the reason I don't talk about politics 90% of the time is A, I don't like fights. I don't like confrontation. Mm-hmm. And B, I know I'm not knowledgeable enough to argue anything on either side.
So the good thing about kind of what's going on a little bit right now is a lot of people are starting to use their voices and going on to social media, and they're calling senators, Republican senators, and signing petitions to get their voices heard about what we should do and what like everybody should do. And I know some of the Republicans have actually already come out and said if they try to replace this seat before the election, we're going to say no to it, which is actually interesting. But I mean, it's all up in the air. Like you said in your newscast, Kyle, we actually, Trump plans on releasing his nomination this week, which it's really soon. I mean, she only passed away Friday, and that's
I understand the need to fill the gap, you
Mm-hmm.
know, quickly, I guess. But at the same time, we go back to what you said, which was something similar happened
in 2016, and they said it was election year, we shouldn't do it, but it was like more than 200 days before the election,
and now it's like literally less than a month and a half away, and they're saying, "Oh no, yeah, we absolutely need to, fill the seat." That's the part that I'm a little concerned about. Like, why are they so desperate to fill a seat?
And that brings their point, because people are saying, okay, so they're so desperate to fill.
Well, I think we know why they're so desperate. But,
but they're so desperate. And the thing is, people are taking to social media and they're like, we still haven't gotten like more money for the coronavirus bill or anything. Because if you remember, we got that $1,200, or most people got that $1,200 as a stimulus bill, but that was how many months ago? And we've been in this now over 7 months.
And we've also seen problems with that bill coming out originally not everybody got it. And the same thing with unemployment all across the country. A lot of people weren't getting the correct amount of unemployment or getting unemployment at all.
And think about it. We've gone so long without getting the proper needs for that. And this is their top priority, and it's
I'll go back to, my whole point with, Trump wanting to ban TikTok, which actually went through. There are more, in my opinion, pressing matters right now, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you could see where their priorities are landing a little bit. And it is important to note that also with the social media, people taking to social media, people have also started fundraising and sending money to people for their campaigns to be noticed as, someone else that could potentially fill the seat and stuff, so that they could have a chance in a sense. I also want to note, in lighter news about all of this, I have seen some really beautiful images actually on social media. And I know we don't get to say that a lot, but I wanted to share some of them with everybody.
Absolutely. For those of you who are tuning in, not from your car, but from home, if you are interested, we are live on Facebook again. You can find the stream on WMSC radio or WMSC 90.3 FM on Facebook.
So I wanted to share this site. I actually saw this from one of my old teachers on Facebook over the weekend. This was the site on Friday after people had found out about Ruth's death on the Supreme Court. This was the crowd that had formed outside. And I know it's scary to see now because there's a lot of, because we're still in the middle of a pandemic, no matter what, and there's a lot of people. But it was so nice to see people like trying to honor her memory. I'm gonna just keep going with the more pictures. We do see people wearing masks, which is good.
Yeah.
There was even more pictures, and I thought it was like just a beautiful sight. They had like little candles and just flowers and stuff set up, and I thought that was really nice.
Basically just one huge like memorial.
Yeah, it was a nice way to like honor her. There was also, I got sent this yesterday actually from my aunt on Instagram, which I thought was really cool. She sent me that 50th Street in Manhattan actually changed their name to Ruth Street. Like a subway artist changed the station name. Like, and I thought that was really nice and really sweet. Like, it was like this little nice, beautiful little tribute. So I think it's really nice to see people sharing and like her honor. And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, no matter what side of the political spectrum you fall on, it's difficult to, argue against the fact that she did a lot of awesome things.
Yeah, especially
just for women.
Yeah, women in general. Like, it's a real loss.
Just women's rights.
And I'm trying to see where I wanted to go with this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great that people are honoring her, and I'm trying to find the right words and where to go on. Ryan, you keep going.
Well, no, I think it's it's times like this, and I've been saying this all throughout the pandemic, where you can't really argue with people in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should, maybe not can't, but you shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
So in the sense of the pandemic, we see like people arguing with each other, and I don't know, call me a hippie, feel free to angry tweet me if you want to, whatever. But I think, it's at certain times, forget about political, whatever hoopla, and just come together and appreciate something that's going on, or like support one big cause. So for example, the Black Lives Matter movement. I don't get how people make that political. That should not be political. That is a humanity
actually
thing.
You know what? Let's take a step back. How do we make the coronavirus political?
How do you make the coronavirus political when it's like a humanity thing?
Yeah, exactly.
And this is a great example, I think, as sad as it is.
So what I
actually
remembered what I wanted to say to you earlier, Ryan, what you said about like nobody was really forming sides about this, and people have been a little more chill, especially people have been like on social media, like sharing their support in her memory. I'm friends with people on both sides politically on like social media and stuff, so I do see things, and I was honestly shocked to see that no matter what side you fell politically, a lot of people were sharing their support because they know, even if they didn't like some of the policies she said or did, they realized how great she was and that she did a lot over her whole span, and that was really nice to see that people were like, may she rest in peace, let's honor her, like, and they were sharing quotes, and that I thought that was really beautiful. And I saw that like it was a little bit of a coming together moment. Like, I'm not saying everybody was 100% about it, that they were all in support, because you're always going to have people that are going to be like against it or whatever, but for the most part I had saw more people together on Facebook for like the first time in like months.
It's difficult to argue against, like, well, I don't know, some people out there might find it very easy to argue against women's rights, but it's difficult to argue, in my opinion, against the fact that, like, no matter what her other policies may have been, and listen, Kyle, I'm with you, I'm not the most well versed when it comes to politics.
Don't worry.
I'll be front and center about that, but at the same time, I feel like you don't even need to be well versed in politics to understand, like, women's rights shouldn't be a political thing. Not even just women's rights, anybody's rights. So the fact that she took, say, like, I don't know, what would you say, women make up what percentage of mankind?
I mean, like, you got to realize the basic rights that men have had white men have had for many, many years, she granted them for women, and that was like a change. So if you're a woman living in today, and you're basically walking around and able to do things freely, that's because of her. I mean, she, like I said, she helped you take out a credit card without a man. You're able to be a single parent without somebody else. You were able to like adopt, and you're able to, file for divorce over domestic violence. And you're able to do so many things that you wouldn't have been able to do, say, 30, 40 years ago.
Which is crazy to think, like, literally 30, 40, 50-ish years ago, you couldn't do those things, which just blows my mind, in a terrible way.
Like we said, we don't know what's going to kind of happen within the next like month before the election, like if the seat's going to get filled or if it's going to get blocked. That's the whole point. If anybody doesn't realize why people are reaching out to their senators and stuff to try to stop it is because if there's more people that are against it, it won't go through.
Yeah.
So that's the idea, because people believe we're so close to the election, just wait till the next president. If it's Trump or if it's Biden or if it's whatever, like just wait until the election is over.
Yeah. Also, that was like literally her dying wish
was that. So
how on earth can you go against? Well, I mean, I guess they would probably say, "Oh, it's for the good of our country." It's like, no, listen, we've seen this 4 years ago in a way less urgent sense. Forget the whole good of our country, malarkey. It's literally this woman's dying wish. Honor it.
Agreed. And yeah, we will keep you posted at the Buzz if we hear anything within our newscast or within the show, if they decide a ruling of who's going to take the place, because they're saying it's possibly this week. I just saw an article that said Wednesday. I think that's crazy, but that's at least when the nominee would be out. I don't know. It could happen. It might not happen. Well, I guess we'll see, but we'll keep you informed here at the Buzz. And once again, this is our matter of opinion, obviously not of the station.
Yes.
So
if you would like to angry tweet us, feel free. I'm on Twitter at Ryan the Trick.
And I am A Marino 123, I think. I don't even remember.
And Kyle, are you on Twitter?
I don't have Twitter.
Oh, dude, I literally
it's not a good place for
it is not a good
reasons.
No, I literally just do it for the bands.
Anyway,
I follow a bunch of bands.
Anyway, Ryan, you brought this story up today, or to when we were writing the script. You said,
"Oh man, so who loves the DMV?
Nobody.
Crickets." That's right. A week after Governor Murphy's new motor vehicle commission laws, Jersey drivers are still waiting in painfully long lines.
Okay, wait. Before we even get into this, you know my favorite thing about it? Like,
what?
So I'm on like Facebook. I use Facebook a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I do. I use it a lot. So there's a feature, if you don't use Facebook a lot, called Marketplace, where you could like sell items. So like if you're like getting rid of furniture or you're getting rid of just other random items, you could sell stuff. There's a thing that keeps coming up. People like have a picture of a chair and they're like, "I will sit online for you at the DMV for like $100. If you give me $100, I will wait at like 4 a.m. for you to get into the DMV."
That's incredible.
So people wouldn't have to get up early, and I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. So that said, we are seeing a ridiculous amount of people still waiting at the DMV. I know our WMSC's office manager, Kaya Masiak, who also hosts the Thursday Buzz, she literally waited, I want to say 6 hours at the DMV to get her permit renewed, and she never got it renewed. She didn't have time. She was there for like she was there for like 6 or 7 hours. Never got it renewed. This is how long people are waiting in line.
I actually need to get a new license too, and I've just been pushing it off.
Do you need to get your license renewed?
I need to get a new license because I just turned 21 not too long ago, so I need to get the other.
So for those of you who need to get your licenses renewed, that is actually a service you can do online.
Yeah, I think you told me about that actually, because I didn't well, first of all, I believe Murphy extended, if yours expired over the summer, it goes till like December anyway. It doesn't expire till December now.
Yeah.
But also I found out you can do it online or like through the mail, because they're not taking pictures or anything anyways right now, unless you absolutely need it. So like if it's like 12 years old or plus. So I'm just gonna have to do that. I just keep pushing it off.
But yeah, so that is one of the things you can do online if you are going to the DMV because you need to get your license renewed. If you have access to the internet, computer, you can do it online instead of in person to maybe help thin those lines out. The new Motor Vehicle Commission laws as of September that Governor Murphy passed, the first one allows all drivers to reuse current photos, like we just said, on file with the MVC to renew driver's licenses online. This is something I did when I had to get my driver's license renewed during the full-on shutdown of New Jersey. That means drivers have to make an in-person trip to the agency just once every 12 years to renew a standard license, and photos of seniors age 65 and up are valid forever. The second law doubles the time that new residents have to get a New Jersey driver's license and to title and register their cars. They doubled it from 60 days to 120 days. However, this only lasts until they deem the COVID-19 health emergency as over, or hopefully until these lines shorten. So even with these new changes in laws, there has been an insane amount of people waiting outside. So like you said, I never even knew about the Facebook Marketplace thing.
I've seen it a few times. It's kind of actually funny.
But just the fact that people are posting that, means that there's clearly a demand.
No, I know. Because I've had friends that have gone and waited, and they're waiting at 3 a.m. and they still sometimes have trouble getting in, and it's oh my goodness. That's insane. I don't know. Kyle, would you wait at 3 a.m. to get anything you needed at the DMV, or would you
Absolutely not. I didn't even get my 18 license on my birthday. I waited a whole month before I actually went to the DMV to get it.
The DMV wasn't a great place before COVID. You always had to wait. There was always lines. There was always crowded.
In New Jersey.
Yeah, it was always crowded, and it was always insane, and nobody ever wanted to go there. Name me a person that actually was hey, I want to go to the DMV.
I'm so excited to go to the DMV. No,
I believe this is taking a bit out of context, but I believe Yogi Berra said something along the lines of, "Nobody goes there; it's too crowded."
I mean, fair enough.
I've gotten lucky a few times of just walking into the DMV. If I needed something years ago, I've been able to go right to the person and be hey, I need this. But it was it was just, I guess, an off time that I was able to just go right in. But I know it's also been an issue even years ago. I can't even imagine if you were getting your license this year for the first time, waiting for can you imagine your birthday was right in the middle of the pandemic and then you couldn't get your license either?
Well,
that would be so rough.
Well, at the start of this, we were looking, some states said, hey, people can get their license without taking a test.
Yeah, I remember reporting about that. That's insane. But I think it's kind of funny and crazy because I remember, I'm not gonna lie, I failed my first driver's test. It happens. I failed the parallel parking.
Yeah, I was about to ask. Was it parallel parking?
They make you do that first, of course.
Yeah.
And I failed at that. So I was really upset. It was my birthday. I was really bummed. But then I remember I was oh, so can I come back in 2 weeks and do it? And they're oh no, you have to wait till October. And my birthday's in August. So I was really bummed. I was October? I have to wait till October to take the exam again. So I had to wait that long because they were just so backed up. So that was in normal times, years ago. I don't know how many years ago that was now, but it was quite a few years ago. And now think about how backed up they are with this. This is nuts.
Of the 16 agencies in Jersey that handle vehicle transactions, 8 are reaching their daily customer capacity by noon.
Yikes.
Yeah. And obviously these things, people obviously are camping out crazy early in the morning. You don't necessarily have to. So some are actually getting there quickly. We're talking more about some of the average to extreme cases. There are people who get in and out in about, and this is all relative. So you might think, oh, wow, that's still a long time. It is in about 4 to 5 hours. Which is pretty fast for the New Jersey DMV.
I really wouldn't want to go to the DMV right now either, because there's definitely a ton of Karens that are there. Can you imagine, okay, so we're going to take it. I work at a grocery store, and I've seen my fair share.
Let's get a more moment of silence for Amanda.
I'm not gonna lie, I've had Karens. I worked yesterday. I had someone that walked up with the mask in their hand, and someone said something to them, and they were like, "Oh, I forgot." It was in their hand.
Oh, I forgot there was a pandemic.
But, all right, so avoiding that, I've seen my fair share. Now, think about it. People need groceries. Okay. But now you're talking DMV. people have probably been annoyed because I know for a fact people had to go right when this started, and now can you imagine having to wait like 8 months and then having to wait on like an 8-hour line? Like, can you imagine the people that are walking in that are upset? Like, I can only imagine.
People are already unhappy going to the DMV.
Yeah.
And can you imagine waiting 7 hours? I still feel so bad for Kaya. She waited like 6 or 7 hours, and she didn't get it done because she had like the WMSC meeting that she had to come host, and she got there like in the morning. Our meetings are at like 3 o'clock.
4 o'clock actually, I think.
We have our SMT.
Oh yeah, SMT, right.
At like 3 o'clock. But it's just crazy to me. So
I would be so upset.
Yeah, and so anyway, this is all according to NJ.com. Thank you for NJ.com for providing all the a little bit more of the details and some quotes. So they were actually asking people at different DMVs what could make the process better. And some people said online, this is quote, online reservations would make more sense, or maybe an app so you can fill in all of this information. End quote. Somebody said, well, they were literally holding like a stack of forms.
All right. Well, I actually have something to say with that. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But, it is 2020. Like, there should be more of what you could do at the DMV online. It is kind of ridiculous that even in this day and age, you have to go there to do so much. Like, I understand you have to come in, take a picture. Sometimes it's better to go in person to talk about something if you had an issue. But, like, why wasn't, like, some of these things, like, always, like, I know one of my friends just had to file a permit for a new car, like, that she has, and, like, she had to go wait there. Like, why couldn't she just do that online? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, that's one of many people's main complaints, actually, is they found that a lot of people are saying, like, why can't we do most of this stuff online? If you can renew your license online, why can't you, like, renew your permits or register your car?
Exactly. Like, if you're just registering a new vehicle or something, why can't you just do it online? Like, I understand, like, granted, I know you need to do certain things in person, and sometimes there is a glitch, and I understand that, but if more of this was just done online, we wouldn't have this issue.
Even if you're just scanning things and sending them in.
And then just waiting a few days for it to process, and then that's fine too.
Yeah.
Kyle, you have any thoughts on this?
Kyle, do you have any? I was actually going to ask you, Kyle. So how old are you again?
19. Still trying to accept that.
That's all good.
I love how you had to think about it. You were like,
no, it was more. Kyle got a pained look on his face there for a second. For those of you who aren't watching, so Kyle, when you got your license, you got your full license at 18, yeah?
Few months, like a month after I turned 18.
About a month after you turned 18. Okay.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you? Do you remember?
Actually,
was it not very memorable?
Not when I got, like, the first one, I took the test. When I got that one, had to take the picture. That took a while, maybe like an hour or two. But when I went to get my 18 license, there was almost nobody there, which I find very weird. It was like Wednesday at like 8 in the morning.
That's crazy.
And it was relatively empty. Like,
and I think it's funny because actually I feel like people would want to go first thing just to get in.
Yeah, I know.
And be done.
Oh yeah. So for me, when I went in, it was very memorable for me because it took forever. I was probably there for like at least 3 hours. I cannot imagine people saying, "Oh yeah, I got in and out faster than I thought I would. It only took me 4 or 5 hours." That makes no sense to me. So anyways, a lot of people are saying that like we said, it's a lot of people are wanting are kind of pressing for the Motor Vehicle Commission to allow more things to be done online.
Mm-hmm.
And
I shouldn't have to see a sign on the road, like, because the DMV is actually not too far from my house. I shouldn't have to see a sign on the road that says "Don't come, we're at full capacity already." Like that. That's like awful.
Yeah, and on Twitter, actually, just as one example, Jen O'Lantern on Twitter said, quote, "Why is the NJ DMV still such a mess? 7 months into a pandemic and they can't figure out how to function? Plus, shouldn't they be able to do most of this online or via mail at this point? How are they still this unprepared at Governor Murphy?" So she added Governor Murphy with this tweet. And I don't, as far as I know, I don't think he replied. But because he probably gets about 1 million of these tweets.
No, yeah,
a day.
and it's like a main issue. I'm sure, like, I mean, I watched his briefings like almost every day at the start of the pandemic, and then like I kind of just slowly stopped. So like by the time the DMV opened and such, like I don't know, he could have I'm sure some reporter actually asked him like, what's the deal with this, and they're just it's along with a long list of other things that people are still trying to figure out. And I don't know, I think the DMV should be, in my opinion, a top priority, because it is like a government office. So it doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. And one thing, I guess, to put the cherry that's on top of this wonderfully iced cake is in New York City, or in not New York City, but just New York in general, you can set up an appointment online to go to the DMV. You can schedule a slot, and you're not just waiting there for hours.
Because I was actually at my aunt's house this weekend, and she actually was saying that she has an appointment to go to the DMV. And I was like, oh, you're going to still have to wait like 6 hours. She's like, no, like I literally go at this time and they like take me. And I'm like, what? That makes no sense.
Why do not more people know about that?
Why don't we have it then? That's
that's the better question is, wait a minute. Well, why isn't New Jersey setting up appointments?
Appointments, also, like online, maybe phone, like,
Zoom call. That seems to be a big thing nowadays.
Exactly.
They might not do the Zoom call though, only because sometimes they're weird about even phones too, like that they don't like you spreading like your important like information over the online, like they prefer to do that in person. Or again, if you're online though, how many times have you put in like your credit card information and stuff online, or whatever else you have to do?
Right.
You could do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's been a bit of a mess. If you do plan on going to the DMV, please make sure you're staying safe.
Yes. Recommended social distance.
Yeah, we recommend social distancing and mask wearing here at WMSC. Obviously, my personal opinion and advice: just don't be dumb. That's Ryan's wisdom of the day.
Your advice, like the whole pandemic, though.
Yeah,
let's be real.
Don't be an idiot. That's about all I can say to most people. I feel like it covers a broad spectrum of topics.
Mm-hmm.
But that said, we are going to take a quick little break. Once again, you are listening to 90.3 WMSC. We'll be back in a minute to talk about the Emmys. Stay tuned.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you want to come and text us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music.
This is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Adil Akhtar, and you're listening to WMSC.
Montclair, New Jersey, welcome back to the Morning Buzz. In case you just woke up or just tuned in, welcome. My name's Ryan Trick, joined by...
And I'm Amanda Marino.
And...
Kyle Pepitone.
And we are going to be talking about the Emmys. No more DMV. No more sad news.
No.
Maybe some slightly sad news if you're a fan of the morning show.
Who won.
Depending on who won.
Yeah, Emmys though. I think my favorite part about being on the Monday Buzz, by the way, is like getting to talk about these award shows and talking about like major wins and major losses of the night. But I also love hearing about like the fun skits and stuff they do on the Emmys, but I also really like there's always like some random stories that come out at like the awards. This was my random story that I really enjoyed. I was telling you a little bit about it earlier, Ryan. So one of my favorite stories that came out was, okay, 2 people were nominated for Emmys. Well, not just 2, but 2 people in this particular instance. Ron Cephas-Jones for This Is Us, and Jasmine Cephas-Jones for Free Ray Sean, which is on Quibi. They are father-daughter, and they actually both won Emmys. And if
Aw.
you don't actually know Jasmine as well, she was actually in Hamilton, the original cast. So if you caught that on Disney Plus this summer, you were fortunate enough to see it in theaters. So it was this really cute, nice story that came out this week about the Emmys because they were part of the Creative Arts Awards. So they got announced a little before yesterday. And it was just really cute because this is the first time in history that this has ever happened. A father-daughter duo won Emmys in the same year. Can you imagine? Like, that's so
sweet.
cool.
Yeah.
I don't
Being able
know.
to, I don't know. I think I like that. That's cute.
It's like a cute little story. I don't know. I just wanted to share that because that was my favorite that I had heard come out. But let's get to some of these awards.
Yeah.
Other
so
awards.
we're gonna be first. We'll just cover briefly the limited series or TV movie kind of awards. So for outstanding lead actor, in case you missed the Emmys last night, Mark Ruffalo from I Know This Much Is True won as outstanding lead actor, and outstanding lead actress in a limited series was Regina King from Watchmen. And I've heard Watchmen is
I never got to
awesome.
watch Watchmen.
I have, yeah, we
I
haven't
feel like
watched.
I feel like
it.
that would be like a you show, Ryan. Like
I
Watchmen.
need to
Because you
watch
like a
it.
lot of the superhero kind of comic book. Kind of
Kyle, have you watched it?
Watchmen? No.
No, we gotta.
No, I don't watch too much TV, so I'm going to be lost on everything you say for the next 30 minutes.
Don't worry, Kyle. So am I. I'm still waiting for them to add anime to the award shows.
There should be an award. There you go. There should be an award category anime. There you
Yeah,
go.
that would best anime.
Best anime.
I would before we continue, I would probably give best anime for this year to I would say My Hero. My Hero Academia, that last
Good one.
season.
I've heard of that.
Wicked.
I don't know anime, but I've heard of that.
I nominate JoJo, but they haven't had anything new since like 2019, 2018.
Oh, yes. I nominate JoJo anyways. Screw it. That's so good. All right. Supporting actor and limited series or movie. I apologize to everyone who is about to cringe at my pronunciation of this name, but Yahya Abdul Mateen II from Watchmen. I know I butchered that. Please forgive me. And supporting actress in limited series or movie, Uzo Aduba.
And worst pronunciation award.
Yeah, and the worst pronunciation award goes to yours truly, Ryan Trick. One for Miss America.
Cool.
So that's for supporting actress in limited series movies. Let's get into what we all really want to talk about. Now, I say this, Kyle has a concerned look on his face. So
I don't know what we're
would
doing.
like to specify, in case you've never heard of this show, and in case our overlords at the FCC are tuning in, when I say the name of this show, I will spell it out before I say it. It is spelled SCHITT, like the name. I'll say Zhitz. We'll call it Zhitz Creek. You know how it's actually pronounced,
Yes,
but I'm not going to say it.
FCC rules. We don't.
So we're going to be calling it S
so-
Creek. So for those of you who are like, just say the full name. I would like to keep my job. Thank you, and have a nice day. So for outstanding lead actor in a comedy series,
Whoa! Before you even dive into it, they won.
They cleaned house.
up. They cleaned up, and that was crazy. They won for
I was
best
furious.
actor.
They were outstanding lead actor, outstanding lead actress,
Best supporting actor, and best supporting actress
for comedy series.
Yeah, like they just cleaned up the acting category, which I was mentioning to Ryan that I think it has to do with this was their last season.
Yeah.
So I think that had to do with like, all right, let's give them the praise. Let's give them the awards. They're done after this. They can't win again. So like, let's just give it to them because sometimes we do know awards are a little rigged and a little like, all right, we're going to gear it towards that. So.
I get it's a good show. Don't get me wrong. Whatever. It's I get it's okay. Maybe let me rephrase that. I get
it's a good show to some.
popular
I
show.
can't say I just it's not my cup of tea, honestly. I've tried. I just wasn't into it. I know a lot of my friends though and family do love the show. So
Yeah, I get it's a popular show. Now
it ran for like I think like 7, 8, 9 seasons. Like, so it ran for a while. So it obviously had an audience. So.
Personally, I think though that there were better things for.
Oh, you're gonna go into that.
All right, so I don't get me wrong. personally, I have no clue why this is considered a comedy. I consider it a fantastic show, though. Dead to Me.
Oh yeah.
So, outstanding lead actress, Linda
Cardellini.
Cardellini. Thank you. I'm not Italian, so I can't do
Okay.
names
It's
good.
not that hard of a name, but okay.
Don't worry about it.
Worst
Anyways,
pronunciation
Linda
award for the
Cardellini.
year.
Yes,
Ryan
goes
Trick.
to Ryan Trick. I finally won something, Dad. Are you proud? Linda Cardellini from Dead to Me. I mean, Dead. If you
It's a
haven't watched
dark
Dead to
comedy.
Me, it's a dark comedy. I don't know if I would consider it a comedy fully. I guess
Dark
it's like a
comedy.
dramedy. That's what I would consider it. But yeah, no, if it's a dark comedy, that's fair. It's basically Dead to Me is about a lot. I
It's
don't
a
even
lot.
know
You
how
can't
to, I
even
don't even know how to
describe it.
describe
It's a dark comedy though, so like I get.
It's there's like murder involved and grieving but it's
Yeah,
like really
it's
if you're into
funny,
dark
though, in a
humor, yeah.
sense.
If you have a dark sense of humor, you actually would probably find the show pretty funny, which is one of the
But
reasons I
anyway,
really
the best
enjoyed it.
actress category we also have to talk about because Catherine O'Hara won. So if you don't know Catherine O'Hara from that show, she is actually, if you go back and you watch the movie Home Alone and you're a big fan of the movie Home Alone, she's the mom in the movie. So that's one of her other big roles. She's been in a ton of other stuff. That's just like, if you know Home Alone, that's like who she is. So I think that was fun. But anyway, in that category also was Rachel Brosnan, and I absolutely love her because she's in The Marvelous Miss Maisel. And if you haven't watched that on Amazon Prime, it's like a comedy. It's a comedy show as well. And she's a comedian, and it's great. And it takes place in the 1950s. Awesome. Great show.
I honestly thought that Miss Maisel would pick up some awards.
Well, they did for music supervision, which, okay, people are probably
I mean, like acting awards.
I know,
but yeah,
I
the
know.
music.
Okay,
no,
but
the music
usually
awards are
they
good.
did actually a
Yeah.
lot. They picked up a lot last year, and I think that was why they've picked up a lot in the past. So I think they were like, all right, we get it. You guys are good. But okay, so here we go on Amanda's rant again of music
no.
supervision. Last week we were talking about on the Buzz on this morning on the Morning Buzz on Monday about music licensing, and I was going all nerdy and geeky talking about like the Facebook stuff, you know.
Oh yeah.
But
I
music
remember that.
supervision, it's the place to be. So basically, if you're ever watching a movie or a television show and you hear the soundtrack in the background, you're like, that's a good song. I love that song. That's them. That's the music supervision team. And so they won for that. And there was so much, because it takes place in the 1950s, they have to play a lot of that 1950s vibe music. And I love it. All right. I'm going to be done with my rant because I could talk about that all day about the soundtrack for that show. So
well, also, you know, kind of like you said, they won a lot of awards last year, you said, right?
Yeah, they did.
So-
Rachel has won before, as well as I'm blanking on her name. Oh, I'm gonna feel so bad. I'm gonna pull it up because she's incredible and she's won multiple times as well. I think Tony Shalhoub also won last year.
So that kind of while you're looking that up, that kind of brings me to my point of this is one of the reasons why I'm not the biggest fan of award shows.
Because there's just too many people that are good.
Alex
Borstein. I was forgetting that. She's voices on Family Guy and stuff too. She was in the show and she usually wins. She won last year.
It's the fact that sometimes they feel pretty rigged. If you are in college and you have taken like recent media studies classes, that is a topic that's covered in a couple media studies classes. Is kind of the we'll call them economics that go into
it's
the
funny
award
too because
shows
a lot of times
and what gets nominated.
If there was a reason the show was good or something, this goes for any like movies, TV, theater, film, whatever. They sometimes if there's money involved or something and they need a good image for the show, like they sometimes are like, hey, give this award to there. It's like it's a lot of political stuff that gets involved.
Yeah, there's a lot of weirdly kind of just weird stuff that goes on in the deep dark
it's actually funny
parts of
because
media.
a show that I love that only won one award last night out of the 8 they were nominated for, The Morning Show, they actually touch on that and talk about in one episode how they bought the award for the main girl
for the main character
during like the one scene that they bought the journalism award or
Yeah.
whatever. And it happens across all I don't know. But Billy Crudup won in that. I was so
Yes.
excited because I love the
I am
morning
a
show.
golden god.
You just made that reference.
From
The
Almost
reference from my
Famous.
favorite movie. But anyway, Kyle, did you tune into the Emmys? Did you watch anything that was nominated this year? Give me your thoughts. Give me your comments, concerns, questions.
Well, I don't know everybody who won, so I don't know if I watched anything like indirectly of somebody who won, but I didn't watch them last night. I was actually watching The Invisible Man with
Okay.
my father.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How was that, by the way?
It's kind of slow moving, actually.
So?
Not a lot happens. It's more of a suspense thriller kind of thing.
Got it.
Now,
But the effects were great, and so that's
yeah.
what I was looking for.
I thought I kind of want to. I want to watch that because it looks really good.
Yeah, I didn't know it came out this year, which surprised
did.
me.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
came out, I think, right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like February or something.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess kind of speaking of the pandemic, always speaking of the pandemic, apparently in the world that we live in now. So you saw the awards last night,
Yeah,
Amanda.
I
didn't
watched-
get a chance to watch them.
I did catch in late because I was working, but you know what I thought was interesting is they really tried. It was weird, but they did try using Zoom to their best of their ability. They had all the people in each category had their Zoom screens up, so you saw them like take a wine glass if they were they were cheering for themselves, if their friends and family were there. It was kind of fun. It was different. It was weird. But it was a nice experience. And I know I didn't watch it, but my mom was telling me that the beginning of the show, so Jimmy Kimmel hosted,
Mhm.
and they started out the show and it looked like there was an audience. And you got really concerned because you were they were putting the camera on all these main actors that would have been nominated. And everyone was my mom told me, she was like, oh, I'm so confused. I thought there was no audience. Then they zoom in on Jimmy Kimmel in the audience too. And they're like, aha, you were tricked. This was from 2 years ago. And they put the recording in as the opening from 2 years ago.
Oh.
So it was kind of funny, but it was cute in a sense.
I did see that part, and yes, I was confused.
That's
Because you were
clever.
the audience, people are on top of each other, no social
But it's
no masks.
See, I get they're trying to confuse people, but it's so nobody changes that much in 2 years, especially people that old or full grown. What I think they should have done is, I don't know how long the Emmys have been around, but they should have shown footage from 20, 50 years ago, just
That's been
all
my
grainy and
favorite
black
thing
and white.
of
That would have been
watching-
awesome.
Of watching live things that you're usually live and them trying to compensate for not having an audience, and they just throw in this video footage. It's my favorite thing to look for because I think it's funny and it creates this different watching experience, and it just proves to you that nothing can be perfect, and it's okay that it's not perfect. I mean, the goal of these award shows and stuff is that they want it to look good, obviously, but right now nothing could look perfect.
Yeah, nothing
and
looks
I think
great.
we
right
learned
now.
that in the pandemic, and I've been learning that from a lot of my teachers and professors, that it's okay. There's gonna be noise. There's gonna be glitches in Zoom because it's not perfect. Nothing's perfect, but
But
I don't
yeah,
know.
there are always going to be technical difficulties when doing stuff like this. I mean, we on the bus have run into several
of
technical
course.
difficulties. Throwback to when my power blew out in the middle of a show 5 minutes before an interview and my
that
car was
Amanda wasn't
totaled.
prepared
That
for.
Amanda wasn't prepared for. So it's
Sorry, listeners that listened 5 months ago and thought I was prepared for that interview.
if
I
you
was
are
not.
interested in that episode, you
no,
can always
no,
find it
let's not-
on
no.
you can always find it on our YouTube page. I gotta plug it. It's
All right.
okay.
But anyways, something else that I also thought was fun, most of the casts of the shows actually gathered. So they gathered in the smaller groups. So I know with S Creek, they had a little crowd of them from the cast. I mean, granted, two of them are
It's a
related.
small, yeah,
so
it's a small family.
yeah, it's a
and-
small
and they're
group, and
also
they would
related,
they had their
so.
masks when they were next to each other and stuff like that. But I thought that was fun, and they actually did some skits and stuff with that too. There was one time that I was watching, and they did a little Friends reunion. So if you watch the show Friends, they had a little reunion of
Yep.
some of the characters like Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox, and a lot of them were involved. So I thought that was super fun because I mean, I'm not a Friends fan, but if you were, it was a fun little look. We're living together. What do you mean? We live together. And they're like, no, you don't. You have families. They're like, no, we live together, because they were relating back to their friend's apartment. And I thought that was fun. But even though I didn't watch the show, I know that it was fun, and I would be so happy if I was a super Friends fan.
Oh yeah. Now here's the kind of annoying part. Speaking of S Creek, as per usual, I found this out. Not only did
Oh, you were telling me about this.
look, this is obviously being a skeptic. So I've said it before. I'll say it again. If you are interested in angry tweeting me, feel free.
And again, these are opinions from the hosts, Ryan and Amanda, and our contributor Kyle.
Somebody tell me why the lead support or the supporting actor who won for S Creek also won the writing for comedy series awards and the, I believe, directing for comedy series
but not
awards.
for that show. For
not
other
for
shows.
that show. For other shows. That just seems a little sus to me, right? Am I alone here?
No.
How? Look, maybe he's an awesome writer, awesome director. Go ahead.
No, he is. They teamed up a lot
dude.
for S Creek. So I just want to make sure I don't get these names wrong because I don't want to mess up. Yeah. So Eugene Levy and Dan Levy were their dad and son.
Yeah.
So they worked together a lot on S Creek of like creating the show and writing the show together. So that was, obviously he had that writing bug already, so he went on to do other things too. But I think it's just kind of funny that they cleaned up the acting awards for comedy and then they moved on. He moved on to like writing and stuff, and he was just one of those. So
essentially, S Creek won literally the entire comedy section.
Yeah, basically.
So
I mean, with
obviously
not music supervision.
Obviously not music supervision.
I'm such a nerd. Oh my god.
Marvelous Miss Maisel. Anyways, we'll burn through some of the other ones for outstanding reality competition series. RuPaul's Drag Race. Man, who would have seen that one coming?
Nailed it.
Oh wait, everyone saw that one coming. Yeah, I kind of wish it was nailed. But outstanding variety talk series. Last week tonight with John Oliver won. Outstanding limited series. Watchmen. Outstanding comedy series, S Creek. Outstanding drama series, Succession. So that's your little Emmys rants and recap. Ooh, I like that. Emmys rants and recap with Ryan and Amanda and Kyle and WMSC. For those of you who just woke up or just recently tuned in, sorry, we're ending the show. It's about 9 o'clock, the top of the hour here on 90.3 WMSC, Upper Montclair, New Jersey. Thank you very much for joining us.
And if you want to hear more buzz, Buzz? Ha.
More. Oh, because it's the name of the show.
Yeah, Morning Buzz.
Oh.
Monday through Friday, 90.3 WMSC, iHeartRadio, and Facebook Live.
8
or
to
you can check it later
9 a.m.
on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. And
also, if you still want to stick around here at 90.3, my music show, When Sparks Fly, airs with Ryan later today.
Exactly. Be sure to tune into that if you're interested in some awesome. What were we doing? It was a 2000s throwback show.
Yeah.
So, if you want to hear me go off about some real throwback songs, be sure to tune into When Sparks Fly. We will see you guys next time. As always, to quote one of my good friends and fellow radio personalities, George Jamgochin, if 90.3 WMSC isn't on your radio, then your radio shouldn't even be on. We'll see you guys next time. We're off.